Hey Jason, what if we changed our intro tune to like something like, "Yeah, whoa, whoa, yeah,
Yeah,
and
no.
then we started doing the podcast.
Tempting, but no.
Do you want me to do it a different way?
Nope. We're going to move on. We got to start. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. And we are kicking off another episode. I was gone last time, but I had a great time listening with you to Jam and his brother Caleb. Not to be confused with my brother Caleb. Had a great time listening to their podcast about brothers, part two.
Did it feel weird not being present?
No, it was great. It was almost like I was there in the room when you guys were sharing. It felt like that. Like I wasn't literally in the room when they actually recorded, but I was, just listening to it.
Well, we missed
It
you.
was like I was on the couch with you guys, just kicking back some hot chocolate and the good old days.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so we're going to get another episode started, and today we're actually going to be talking about singing for your life. So, what is singing?
What is singing? That's a great question. I think, to put it broadly, singing is using your voice in a specific way, moving it up and down in some form, making a melody on purpose.
Whoa, that was good. I think that was good. Yeah.
For instance, different from yelling. Yelling, you might move your voice up and down, but it wouldn't be singing.
But I guess you could say that talking is like, moving your voice up and down, and it's not.
Yes.
I think it's a little bit different.
Well, here's the difference, I would say, is that singing doesn't have to have words.
Okay.
You move your voice up and down. Talking, you have to have words when you talk. At least that's what I've been told.
What about babies? Babies kind of do this little jabber.
Right, but I don't think we call it talking until there's words that make sense, at least a little bit.
I guess you're right. Yeah, it's like, is she talking yet? Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Most people are like, no, or yes, but she's not using real words.
Until there's words, I think you just call it goo goo gaga-ing.
Oh, goo goo gaga. Yeah.
So-
speaking of Lady Gaga, why is it that singing is such a big deal? It seems like we've got like a whole industry devoted towards musical careers and people who sing for a living. Like your one job is to sing, and people take care of their voices because if they lose their singing voice, then they're out.
Yeah.
You get all these people who have been singing for 40 years, and it's like, oh my gosh, is their voice going to break? And they're worth so much. Like, what happens? Why is this such a big deal?
It's interesting. I think before music was an industry or whatever, the fact that singing is a type of expression and something that can be done individually and it can also be done together as a group of some kind. Mm-hmm. I think that's why it has that sort of cultural and historical element to it,
Sure.
It's like think about how if your only interaction with singing your entire life had nothing to do with anything that was a produced song. But if singing in your life was only ever singing songs with your family, your friends, or if you're in church or something, there's cultural folk songs that are written that kind of describe a history of a culture or society, singing about like a battle that happened or some sort of significant event, or something more important, singing about hope, like slaves sang together while working or whatever. And there's a lot of folk songs that have come out of the time of slavery in the United States. And they would do that in the midst of a very horrible situation, but they would sing together as a sort of societal corporate thing that they would do together. And they didn't have produced music that they would listen to as much.
Right. Yeah, I think singing probably came first before. Okay, so this is weird because I think singing and music obviously are like not identical twins, but they are. You can't separate singing without music.
Right.
But I do think before that they had instruments, I think they must have just done stuff with their voices. I don't know how people figured out wow, that was really cool. How did you do that with your voice?
Yeah.
It's well, I just whatever. So singing was the first music, most likely.
Oh, surely. That's true. I jumped way forward in time, but
Yeah,
you're right. Back
that's
in the
okay.
day, surely they figured out some way to sing, and that was the first type of music that people had. And I bet it was really simple at the beginning, too.
Probably. I mean, who knows? I did want to say for the record, you are ahead of your time, so.
Ahead of, not my time, but I guess ahead
The
of
time.
the time. Yeah.
Yeah, singing is super interesting. I think it's cool, and I think it really has changed over the years. And it also varies based on your culture, based on your country that you're living in. Singing is so different if you go around the world to different places. It's totally totally different. Even
Yeah.
just within one country, you can get all these different types of styles and stuff. And
Yeah, styles of like the way the voice sort of sounds, like the different
Yeah.
sort of qualities of it, just on the surface, like whether it's smooth or more gruff, or whether it's higher or lower, and even some like melodic structures are very unique to types of cultures and parts of the world.
yes,
So what sounds like, you know, sort of normal, or what sounds beautiful to us is really dependent on what we've grown up being used to. Yeah, it's interesting. Gosh, there must be a reason why singing happened, like why it started at some point, right?
sure, yeah. I don't know. Maybe just like there's our voices can do these really neat things that makes it sound musical, that kind of resonates with our hearts, our emotions, our senses in a different way than talking can or speaking. So I think
Yeah.
that's why singing caught on pretty quick, probably, and people were like, "Whoa, this is really cool. It's different than our normal everyday language."
Yeah, it feels like it's a release of something that we're feeling. It could be an emotional thing, or it can be like something done as part of some sort of ceremony or whatever, where there's an element of like it is a tradition, you know, whether it's something that's I'm feeling as an individual or sort of collectively as a thing that a group is doing, or whatever. But it does feel like it is reflective of something that is happening inside, and singing it kind of makes it
Sure.
true. Like we're almost like we're announcing something, you know,
Yeah.
like a love song. It's like, I am in love. You're singing that out. And it's like, now it's true. Now that I've done that and everybody knows
Yeah.
it, now
It's official.
It's official that I am in love.
Yeah.
So obviously there's tons of types of singing. What types of singing do you do? Like what is singing like in your life?
I sing a bunch of different things, a lot of songs that I know, but I think I also sing just normal everyday things for comedic effect. And I think I took that from you, so I got to give you all the credit. Just stuff like, "What are you doing?"
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
I do love singing like phrases like that. Yeah.
It does make it more fun where it's like, "Hey, yeah, like what are you doing?" You know, it kind of makes you perk up and be like, "Seriously." I know that there is yodeling. Yodeling is a type of singing.
So you know that it is, but is it on your list of types of singing that you like? Or that you do?
I don't know if I would go to yodeling very often. I think I would probably go towards like scat, jazz kind of stuff. I think scat's really fun. The kind of it should be bop dib dab bop boo. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
See, there you go. It doesn't require talking. In that case, it's sounds, but it's not words.
Yeah. Right.
I like to sing. I'm not really good at it. I've never been like really trained or anything or whatever. But I like to sing around the house. I like to sing almost any opportunity I can.
Wow.
However, I do have that feeling of like when suddenly it becomes a performance, instead of being something where I'm like singing in a silly way or I'm just singing sort of to myself around the house or whatever. When it becomes a performance, it is scary for me because I know that I've never like I'm not a singer in the sense of someone who does that for other people and people enjoy it. Like that's never been something that's been part of my reason for singing.
That's interesting.
So there's one situation where I did that in front of a large crowd of people that I kind of care about the opinion about. My friend and I in high school wrote a rap. Basically, we used the tune of "I'll Be Watching You," the Sting song,
It's a great song.
and then another version of it was done. It was called "I'll Be Missing You." I think it was about Biggie Smalls dying, or
Sad.
Tupac dying. And so we took that tune because there's a karaoke version, and we wrote a rap over it. My friend and I did, and we performed. We did a video to it that was kind of one of our bigger videos at the time, and then we sang it live. He did the rap part, and I did the singing at our talent show when I was a senior. And so that was like my only time I've ever sing in front of everybody. I was incredibly nervous, even though it was this really silly song, and it was intended for just
Right.
comedic. And so that's
Yeah.
like probably at least all I can think of. My only time doing it. And when we performed it for the school, the guy who was running sound messed something up, and at one point the song just ended in the middle,
Ooh.
and we were just kind of like left trying to fill time while he figured out how to play it back. It was really annoying.
Acapella.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, it's because it's a rap, but you have to have the beat, or at least we have to have something to replace it quickly
Sure.
to get back on the same page. But
If you're not, yeah.
yeah,
If you can't do acapella, acapella is hard. Yeah, I can see that.
so it was a kind of. I think people knew that it wasn't our fault that things went wrong, so I
Sure.
don't think it wasn't that embarrassing. But
No, yeah.
you know,
But
so,
it's just more awkward.
yeah.
I had an experience when I was younger. So I didn't really like singing like personally like singing for a while growing up, and I think especially singing in public. But I think what happened somewhere along the way was a traumatic experience, and that's why.
Yeah.
Semi-traumatic. And it's traumatic for like a 7-year-old who has self-esteem issues or whatever.
Right. Oh, it's what 7-year-old doesn't.
So, yeah, right? So when I was 7, I think, I was in a local community choir of some sort.
Oh, wow.
With my older sister and a bunch of other people.
So you've had like real singing experience.
I guess.
Sort of.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it was just like a local thing. But I don't remember a whole lot about it except that we sang Yellow Submarine, and that was like the song everybody loved. And Crocodile Rock, which I thought were all weird songs. And then I grew older and realized, oh, wow, those are like really famous songs. But I was 7, and I was one of 2 guys who, 1, regularly showed up to practice, but 2, actually did the final performance.
Yeah.
In front of like 200 people.
Right.
And they had guy parts.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, okay, there's no guys, we're just going to do normal parts. So it was almost like soloing.
Yeah.
And I was terrified.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I had a voice.
Right.
And so it was just like me and this other dude, and I'm like super nervous, you know, because when you have like 15 girls, you're just blending in, right?
Yeah.
Even if you break up into the different harmonies. But I was like, oh my gosh. So that scarred me for a while until like teenage years, and then I started singing in public again.
Nice.
And then I got to a point where I'm like, hey, I can sing in front of people.
So you came out of retirement. After a 15-year hiatus.
More like came out of my shell or came out of hiding.
Right.
My voice opened up.
Yeah. Dang, that's nice. I mean, that's good that you weren't permanently scarred, though. That would be horrible if you were still...
I still remember it.
Yeah. I mean, you still remember it, but it's
okay.
It's cool that you overcame it or whatever.
Yeah.
Something I noticed is interesting about myself is that when it comes to listening to singing, I definitely like really pretty singing and, you know, beautiful voices.
Sure.
But more often, my favorite type of singing to listen to, and that really sort of affects me, is whenever it's not perfect. It's, by perfect, I mean it's not like this flawlessly smooth thing, but there's character to it. There's some imperfections. There's some qualities to it that are unique to the person singing. Maybe it's a little bit of gruffness like Bob Dylan, or maybe it's something like, you know, without dropping any other names, it just is unique and not necessarily like someone who's been classically trained or anything.
Sure.
But has a relatability to it. And, you know, a lot of songs that people sing have, you know, maybe some stories or personal elements to it. And so I feel like it kind of adds to that. And I've noticed I really, really like that. It just feels more relatable. It feels like the song does have a sort of story element to it, or you're learning something about someone's life, which is nice because if we're talking about kind of the roots of singing being something we've all always done in some form for, you know, thousands of years and stuff, since humans have been around way before then or whatever. But that would make sense that we'd be attracted to that.
Yeah, the more normal type of singing.
But
yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be able to hear kind of like, oh, that guy doesn't sound like he has an operatic voice, you know? It's like, man, I feel like I could almost, you know, sing his songs.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have to be like a, you know, professional artist, but it's like, okay, cool, I can sing his stuff.
Yeah, or singing along with it and not feeling like, wow, I sound horrible next to this opera guy or something like that.
It's like, yeah, I can't do that, so.
Yeah.
Nice. So what's a verdict on singing? What do you say?
I think it's great, and I think there's a lot of people that are scared to do it out loud. You're worried about what people think, and I think that shouldn't be the case. I think we should all sing all the time, all together, and just do it. Why not? I think a good moral for this podcast would be sing a song.
Make it loud. Make it strong.
Don't worry if it's not good enough for anyone else to hear.
Singing, because you have a song.
Singing. Humans are way better at it than most mammals, so we should kind of take advantage of that, I think.
Wow, that was deep.
Yeah.
Singing. Only Jam can think of deep slogans for singing.
Singing, it's for you. It's free. There we go, that's it. Singing, it's free.
Well, that's a wrap, folks, and we are going to bring this song to a close. Thanks so much for listening, and we would always love to hear your thoughts. So if you ever have any ideas or suggestions for our show, just get in touch with us. And if you want to write us a song about your suggestions, that's cool too.
And we might play it. Why not?
We might play it, yep.
On an episode or something.
Cool. All right, guys. We will see you soon.
All right, bye.